The problem with World of Warcraft. Ooh, there's a lot of problems with World of Warcraft, man. Oh, there's a ton of them. It's dead. Dead game, man. You know what the problem is? It's the people keep playing the old version and not the new version. Am I right or am I right? Okay, but no, I wanted to check out this video. Yeah, because it's got a lot of problems. And everybody will tell you that there's one problem, but you know what the one problem is the Beastmaster spec War Within is very bad. I can't wait for that update. But that problem is going to be fixed, so plenty of other problems. Hey, let's go see what it is, boys. Let's go check this one out. Let him go. Wait, what? Yeah.
I have a problem. And when you have a problem, what do? That's right, you complain on the internet. And when it comes to WoW, a game stretching the majority of most of your lifetimes, there's been plenty of mistakes to complain about.
Shadowlands. You complain about Shadowlands.
I could make an entire video on the Disneyfication of WoW or the addition of the WoW token, and I'd especially love to have a private conversation with whoever's responsible for letting these things roam free.
See, I don't play horse, so I don't really care about these guys.
Personally, I think we should gather them all up with the Worgen and pull a Theramore 2 electric boogaloo. The War Within, by almost every measure, is fantastic so far. The new zones make me feel like I'm playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's actually been banging. I'm gonna be making a video about it soon, but yeah, no, I've had a lot of fun with the new ones.
New hero talents are a ton of fun, and the new allied race needs no introduction.
Hey, give it back! That's private!
Who is this? Your brother?
That is my wife.
But by far, my biggest problem with this game is just getting any of
just the fact that they all have beards, and they're bigger than mine too. It's crazy, especially the women, man.
my buddies to give it a try.
Crazy.
Such a long-running game has an equally deep reputation. And by that I mean there are hardly any gamers at all who haven't heard of the title and at least formed a half-baked opinion about it.
But the first time you got the call that you could play Superman, what was your reaction?
I was playing World of Warcraft at the time. I had my priorities straight.
Unfortunately, it seems that 4 words are responsible for holding back the countless gamers who would otherwise be willing to give the game a try. Those 4 words being subscription model and time sink. As a WoW player myself since 2007, the very concepts of paying $15 a month to continue and wasting time have become as regular to me as breathing. But for the modern gamer, why would they ever consider that when they have countless free-to-play titles to pick from that let them instantly join matchmaking? They didn't start playing the game before the majority of their—
Yeah, man, the big one now is Marvel Rivals. Ooh, Marvel Rivals. Everybody's playing that. Everybody's Spider-Man. Well, probably not everybody's Spider-Man. I'm sure some people are Doctor Strange. But yeah, no, that's the big one. It's the big free one. This and League of Legends, like Counter-Strike. But no, that's like the big one.
Frontal lobe had developed like the rest of us, so they're immune to the Stockholm Syndrome. What's left to compel them? Well, in 2007, when I joined, the answer to that question was, ironically, ease of access.
Got to sign in? Character name? All right, I'm in.
In a sea of extremely harsh penalties for dying, unintuitive systems, lack of direction, high-end graphics requiring expensive computers to run them, World of Warcraft offered the opposite. Its ease of access has played a very crucial role in its popularity.
And all that reflection left me thinking, is the modern day World of Warcraft even meant to be casual friendly? Or is it intentionally dragging its feet in the gameplay philosophy of the past? Is the definition of what makes a good MMORPG in 2004—
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Hardcore Classic has a lot like worse systems. What do you mean? Retail has a bunch of friendly systems. Half of the time you don't even have to group up. Most of the content can be like soloed. In fact, like all the content can be soloed. It's like 100% like Diablo compared to Path of Exile. You compare like classic would be Path of Exile, you know, retail would be Diablo. It's just like all the systems in retail are designed to be like new player friendly, including like even they have dungeons now that you can just have followers. You know, you don't even need to like queue in a dungeon with actual people. You can just go in with your followers. They can guide you. It's like basically just a normal battle. Like it doesn't take much at all. If you know how to press like one or two buttons, you can solo that. Like that's retail's the most player friendly version. It's not complex. There's really the only thing that like might be complex would be the skill tree. You know, like looking at the skill tree, you might be like a little bit like, oh, there's a lot to pick from. What am I gonna pick? But then like it doesn't really take much to like look at it and be like, okay, that was easy. I really shouldn't be worrying about too much. It's meant to be ease of access. Very a lot of the like I don't think it could be more easy to get into. It's pretty self-explanatory. Although when you first start out and you get out of Exile's reach or whatever, you know, because you're gonna be playing the tutorial island. When you arrive in Stormwind, it can kind of be a little bit confusing about like what quest to take. I'm saying like Stormwind because I'm an alliance, so like, you know, when you arrive in the starting city, there's a bunch of quests, right? There's usually like some older DLC quests that you can take, and then there's always like one or two event quests, like, you know, for the Dark Moon Fair or whatever, Valentine's quest. So there's like a lot of confusion about like, okay, I just arrived from Exile's Reach, which quest line do I take? But I think like once you're out of Exile's Reach, by default, Dragon Owl's main quest should start. So it's like really, it's not that confusing. You just like follow the quest objective, but I can understand like getting lost in Stormwind when you first arrive after getting on a tutorial. But like once you get your bearings and play a bit, like you don't need to sink too much hours into the game. You just have to understand like you don't really have to understand much to play WoW. Like really, even if you're like, you know, you have like 3 kids, like 5 wives, you can still like kind of understand WoW. Like you don't, everybody seems to think like you have to be doing like all these like 50 dailies and like, you know, 25 like, you know, world quests and stuff to enjoy the game. But like most people like don't have to be doing that. Like you can just like play, get your gear, get it when you level up, and just have like an all right experience. Like you're not going to be like most people don't really care about like running 50 mythic keys and stuff like that. And like I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think like most people even like care about the Great Vault either. Like it's like the Great Vault. What is that? Wait, you mean the bank? It's like what day is that thing open on? You know, it's just like I really don't think it's that big of a problem.
Same definition that we have today. The answer to all 3 of these is obviously not. The definition of casual friendly as it pertains to gaming has changed. Obviously not.
Is retail WoW even meant to be kind of WoW intent to Dragon's feet on all games?
The definition of casual friendly as it pertains to gaming has changed dramatically over the last 2 decades, especially for the MMORPG genre. But nowadays, getting into WoW from square one can be pretty difficult, especially if you want to set foot into PvP. It used to be so easy. We used to,
but it's really not difficult to play WoW. You just have to have basic understanding. If you gotten to the point where you can download WoW and you understand what the Blizzard launcher is, you're pretty much like, you know, it's just like Because you can't really. I don't even think. Do they even sell physical copies of World of Warcraft anymore? I don't even think they do. I I literally think you have to go on the Blizzard website, download the Blizzard launcher, and do all the stuff. And I'm sorry, but if you're able to like download a launcher, you can understand how to play WoW. Like it's not going to take too much of your brain power to play retail or even classic. Like classic Andes, they might be it might be a wily bunch, but I mean, yeah, it really doesn't take much to play WoW, man. Like I don't understand.
You just hit max level. Then you do battlegrounds, get honor, and buy honor gear. Then you play arenas, get conquest, and buy conquest gear. What was Blizzard smoking when they decided that instead of that system, after hitting level 80, to gear for PvP you have to accept this quest at the very beginning or permanently behind the curve for at least a month, accept all these weekly quests too, pray to God the comp stop is available, do battlegrounds, get honor, buy honor gear, do world PvP, buy world PvP gear, and place every conquest item that doesn't have your best stats, make crafting gear pieces, add extra passive effects, then you do arenas, then you get a free tier piece, 1600 CR, then you buy your 2 sets of conquest, then finish buying your last 3 conquest gear until they remove the cap in a few months.
Let me guess. You're home?
It was.
Okay,
It was beautiful.
okay.
As an esport, the AWC has never really been all that popular. And how could it be? As a new player, it's
Okay. All right, yeah. WoW as a PvP game, no. Come on now. It's just, it doesn't work, man. You just play League of Legends. Just play League of Legends. This is like a worse experience than League of Legends, you know? Like nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. And I think didn't in War Within they got rid of, it's a good thing that they got rid of the Great Vault not having PvP items in it too. Don't they just give you extra honor per battleground? And I mean, this guy's saying that like WoW is harder to get into PvP. But as a new player, you probably wouldn't even know what PvP even is. Nobody like, I don't imagine that there's much people that like buy World of Warcraft and are like, okay, I have World of Warcraft. Now I really just want to play PvP. I've never done a quest in WoW, but like this PvP stuff really interests me. I don't imagine anybody's like watching tournaments like this. And they're like on Twitch and they're like, wow, this is the experience that I want from World of Warcraft. I just don't see it happening. I really just don't.
possible to tell what's going on. If the wrong caster is announcing, then they might not even know any more than you do. And if you want to give the game a shot to try to understand it from the inside out,
yeah, no, this is bad. This is like that whole thing. It's just a bad experience. Like nobody knows what's going on, especially with like how colorful the game is and like half the spells and stuff like that. Like, yeah, nobody takes this. I can't take this seriously, man. I don't know how anybody can. It's too much.
to give the game a shot to try to understand it from the inside out, then you gotta be ready to fork over $65 and literally about 100 hours to even begin to get a foothold in any given meta. Even when I try to break down the content to make it more understandable and digestible, you still get people like this.
TLDR, get a PhD to play a garbage game mode in a 20-year-old tab target game. No thanks, XD.
You're always gonna have haters on any kind of content upload, but this one
Okay, I like that. I mean, they're not wrong. It's like, nah, I'm not a PvPer because I just haven't got into it, right? Like the most extent that I'll do is like I'll hop into like a battleground, one of those big ones, and do some mediocre damage, and then I'll leave once I get my like earned 25 honor this week, and then they'll be like, no, okay. It's like, but I haven't done that just because it hasn't interested me, and I've been like working on videos, so it's like, but that's the extent of my PvP.
That's a point. For a lot of people, that will be the general takeaway. Think about literally any other bracket of WoW content. Leveling, dungeons, raids, profession grinding, role-playing, pet battles, transmog, and mount farming, there is not a single other activity in the entire World of Warcraft that requires you to know half as much information to compete. Even if you happen to be somebody who does have all the information and all of the gear, it still might not matter because there's no real matchmaking system in this game. If you're not either a big streamer or playing a healer, then you could spend 30 to 45 minutes waiting for a solo shuffle or battleground blitz queue to pop. You also have the option of getting denied from arena groups for half an hour, but you can't do that while queued for a blitz, so pick your poison, I guess. Because of this, WoW PvP is easily the least popular endgame pillar of content.
Yeah,
And that
no,
is a
it's
tragedy.
bad.
I'm just saying if the arena didn't exist, I wouldn't have bought the last few expansions. And I know I'm in the minority of players for saying
Really?
that. I'm sure there are plenty who feel the same way for Mythic Dungeons or raiding. I'm just the type of player that skips all the quest text and every cutscene so I can get to the endgame faster. I even feel incentivized to do so by Blizzard because of the game time treadmill that they make everybody run on. After running the campaign quests once on my main, I dungeon queue from 70 to 80 on every other ult. This might sound like blasphemy to you, but believe me when I say, there's a sizable chunk of the player base that agrees with me. Leveling isn't fun. This is deduced by the sheer scale of players who spend real-world money on gold so that they can get boosted through the content. I think leveling might be an outdated concept. Once you hit max level and play through the main story once, there's no reason to repeat it other than Blizzard wants you to waste time to have fun instead of letting you waste time by having fun. You know, like the entire point of video games. Maybe there's an argument to be made for players spending more time in the game when their time is respected and they're enabled to play what they like. Who knows? All I know is from a gameplay perspective, leveling is so bad it's not worth doing. The people who like the story will do the...
Yeah, no, the thing is, it's like how many, it's so... I'm trying to, how do I put this? There's so much quest that there's only like so many ways you can write them at this point, right? You know what I mean? So I can understand how, yeah, that's not fun when it's like go kill boars. But essentially it's not go kill boars. It's go kill these other guys because they're dropping crystals that I need to power this machine. And it's like, you know, okay, that's different, but it's still just essentially killing boars. You know what I mean? So I can understand how leveling's not that fun because there's only like so many ways that you can like write levels at this point, especially with the game this big. You know what I mean? It's like it's been out for so many years. It's like, you know, there's essentially only so many ways you could word it. But essentially what it boils down to is, okay, I'm killing boars, I'm picking up this item that drops from them, I'm picking up boar meat, and then I'm giving it to this guy. Which, you know, then it turns into I'm killing machines and I'm taking out the wires and giving it to this girl. It's like, you know, those are the same quest. It's just different, but it's not. It's the same. So, you know, I get it. I get that.
quest anyways, but until you reach the current expansion's leveling content, you will level every 10 minutes and get weaker with every level due to scaling. You level so fast that your gear has no chance of staying relevant, so gear is meaningless, and since it's all scaled to your level, the numbers you do are meaningless too. It's not even a good tutorial because you'll miss so many core spells for the majority of your journey. It makes it feel like Blizzard only makes content for the endgame, and they patch...
Dude, I really wish the gear in WoW was similar to Elder Scrolls Online, where it's just gear scales so you don't have to replace gear. I would love to like get a good set of trinkets to do like cool things from like old expansions and just use them. Like I would have trinkets that summon. There's one from Shadowlands that it was my favorite trinket because it just summoned a ghoul to fight by you. It was on use, clicked, summon a ghoul, and that was like an awesome trinket. I get 2 of those. It was like 2 summon trinkets. So it's like I really wish that gear scaled with you and it was like Elder Scrolls Online, where it's just you don't outgrow gear, you can just swap gear. That would be so cool to go back to an old expansion, grind out, pick up some gear. You could wear like any item, use any weapon, and it would like scale to your level. That would be so cool. Like that's the best part of Elder Scrolls Online is the fact that like once you built your set, you built it in like any expansion you wanted to, right? Or any chapter expansions, whatever they were called. You could get your items and then that's it. You had your gear. So I had a helmet that could summon a crocodile that would like shoot fire. And it's like I did not have to replace that crocodile helmet. I went into the other expansion, I looked at the gear, I saw that there was no other interesting set, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep using this set from now on. And it's like you did not have to replace your gear unless you wanted to. But in World of Warcraft, it's like you're just like constantly outgrowing your gear, so it's like it seems pointless. You know what I mean? So I understand that, man. That's like the worst part about it is you get a cool trinket that does like, oh, this trinket summons a monster. Oh, but this trinket's like 20 times better. I have to use this other one.
Work the leveling system afterwards. I think that's why so many people enjoy the classic era and Season of Discovery versions of the game. You aren't forced to rush through an agonizingly long tutorial to reach the real content. Instead, newborn, diaper-wearing, soft-skulled babies are dropped directly into the same content that 80% of the player base are also playing through. And that's where the game begins. Nowadays, Classic Realms might be all about world buffs and raid logging, but it wasn't always like that. The problem with modern WoW, boiled down to one word, is accessibility. There are no in-game tutorials for PvP. Nothing in-game tells you about the existence.
Oh, good, sweet sister. Where was that?
Begins. Nowadays, Classic Realms are also playing through. And raid logging, word, is accessibility.
Fantasy game, guys. Fantasy game. I don't. Man, yeah. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I will say, I do like that it's a conjured wheelchair. At least it's not like an actual, but it's like, it's still wooden. Man, this is a fantasy game. Why can't he just walk? Why is it? It's the stupidest thing ever. But mind you, we just came from Dragonflight where it's like the word was we're all family. So, you know, this isn't as bad, you know. This hands down is the worst part of the War Within, by the way. Is this whatever this is. It's so cringe.
There are no in-game tutorials for PvP. Nothing in-game tells you about the existence of gladiator mounts or KSM mounts to even encourage you towards those directions, and there is so much necessary information missing from the default UI. Then you have the community, which is very gatekeeping.
Dude, the default UI, man. Why do they have to ban add-ons and they have to put damage meters in the base UI. That's it. Because I do like how you can move it around, move all your stuff. You can, you know, set your you know, with the edit feature of the UI, they made it very easy to like make it their own. But like, I don't understand why you have to download damage meters to have this. Like this should be a feature and by default. Like, I'm sorry, but like it really annoyed me that I had to download damage meters, man. And just like things like this, where it tells you what bosses there are and stuff. Oh, you can't see it; it's behind my camera. But there's like a boss one too that he's got.
About helping other players, especially new players, because of the way that the abysmal queue system works. And even if all these things weren't true, it still takes somebody that $65 plus 100 hours to even get a feel for it. I think any competitive scene has a problem when fucking League of Legends is more approachable to a new player. I only make that point to emphasize that having 13 classes with 2 to 4 specs each and 25 abilities to each of those specs is not the reason we don't have new players. PvP, pushing keys, and mythic raiding are all fun. but the skill floor can be insanely high. The skill ceiling can be out of sight, and the asking price for the right to experiment with that gameplay to more easily reach the skill floor is another 10 hours of leveling an ult. Then you spend countless more gearing that new ult. It's really difficult to ask a new player to be willing to go through all of that. But then on March 19th, 2024, we caught a glimpse of the answer with Plunderstorm.
Yeah. I played a bit of it. It's pretty good. No, it's not the worst. I got the crocodile mount. I'm not good at it, but like it's fun.
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I've never been more tickled as a WoW enjoyer, because on one hand, it's like, holy shit, class balance changes for raids will never reach me. Just click one button from the login screen to enter a game. This combat is so easy to understand. I think I might give that a try, or I might try this. I don't even have to buy the expansion to play this. But on the other hand, I just wish it were this easy for real World of Warcraft. When you ask the question, what's the problem with WoW? The real answer is buried in numerous layers of meta-analysis and nuanced takes referencing the last 20 years of
having a
gameplay.
really good time.
I love the arenas, and I don't ever want to see them replaced by something like Plunderstorm. But there are countless conclusions to be drawn from it as an experiment, and frankly, I would do unspeakable things to see its return. Blizzard, if you are listening, please give me Plunderstorm back with a Winter's Veil themed snow map by December, and I will be forgiven. I promise, Blizzard, please just give me a snow map.
Oh, well, this video's old because they got it back.
I don't have many numbers to go off of, but even though Plunderstorm didn't compete with the Race to World First in viewer count, Zaryu's Plunderstorm tournament trended about the same as the AWC tends to.
Nah,
this and the Creator Clash were both with almost no build-up.
Nah, Plunderstorm went pretty hard on. It went pretty hard. Yeah, I guess none of these things like really notice. I guess I didn't really notice any of these things because I didn't play PvP. So, yeah, it's like a lot of this stuff that this guy was talking about. Yeah, PvP. I guess I kind of understand how. Yeah, you'd want the entry level to be a lot easier to get into. So, yeah, I can kind of understand some of these points about it.
Or announcements at all, and stirred up a ton of people for what was basically a closed beta. Why was this newcomer to the scene able to basically on release compete with the AWC in numbers when the AWC has been going on for almost 2 decades? Well,
yeah, no, Plunderstorm went wild.
Accessibility. Very fun, very low skill floor, moderate skill ceiling, extremely easily accessible. Pay for access, load in, play the game.
Yeah.
That's it. Mission accomplished. Now you get to have fun. All on a single $15 purchase, just like 2004. The only real problem I saw with Plunderstorm was that it didn't make Blizzard enough money. And trust me, that's not my highest concern here, but there are very few other reasons that I can think of for why Blizzard removed the game mode. I want to believe that they kept it to WoW subs only instead of free-to-play to maintain somewhat of a closed beta scenario. Ideally, this would allow them to fix issues that WoW fans had and then re-release it as a shinier, improved version to monetize later. But knowing Blizzard, we really can't say for sure. But one thing
I mean, no, they just want it to be like limited time, right? And I feel like, yeah, it's something that's not out all the time, so I think it's when it's out, it drives more people to play it, and maybe let's just say if they played it before and it's like it's been quite a while since it came back, then it perhaps might get more people to sub who like stop subbing in between as well too, right? Which I think like they just don't want it to be like sort of a 24/7, 365 game mode. They want it to be limited in that regard. And I can kind of understand because yeah, then it seems like more special in a way too, right? It's like because the players for it have been rather high. Like I think like it has been rather high and it has sort of maintained that player base because when it comes back, more people are excited about it, play it for a long time. And then when it leaves again and comes back, it sort of keeps that player base. It doesn't really like you know, if it was a permanent game mode, I feel like, yeah, there might be like lulls in the player, you know, player numbers. But as of like how they're doing it, kind of it returning every, let's say 6 months, it's like, I think like the player numbers have been rather high to find matches. And like, yeah, I guess I can understand how I'm surprised that like all of the money that you get from this game mode is basically you could buy like mounts and stuff for it, which I was actually surprised. I thought that, yeah, I thought that the store, the plunder store or whatever, would be exactly like the WoW store where it would have like, it would cost you money, but it doesn't. So like I was actually very surprised by that. I was like, what? This is so yeah, I can kind of understand how, yeah, it technically doesn't probably make them a lot of money, but I think the people that like might not have subbed who did get a chance to play it maybe have come back. And yeah, I can understand how it is pretty much an easy game to understand. It's basically just, yeah, Fortnite with wow, it's fun. I can get it.
I can say for sure, knowing Blizzard, is that they do like money.
Do I have a deal for you?
And they might just be sitting on the largest unrealized golden goose opportunity that they've ever had. Now, is that copium? Maybe, but hear me out here. What I want and what Blizzard wants aren't all that different. I want more people to play this game because I think that WoW PvP is seriously the GOAT. Nothing has ever been able to scratch the same itch as this game for me. Blizzard just wants people like me to spend time and money on the game.
I'm sorry, but like I don't think a lot of the people in the game share the same opinion about the PvP. Because yeah, arenas are fine, but like I just think it's like a very small percentage that enjoy PvP, you know. I'm certainly not like a big fan of it. I can understand it, but to be honest, if I wanted to play like a PvP, I'd be playing another game. That's just it. Because I don't think like a game where you can buy a bunch of gold and buy a bunch of items and buy like everything that this guy's saying is probably the reason. Yeah, I wouldn't take WoW PvP seriously because yeah, you can just buy gold, you could just buy all these things. So it's like it right now, even if you couldn't, I probably wouldn't take it seriously. Even if like you could just have your character pre-made and you could just like select from a bunch of, you know, equipment and trinkets, and like everybody sort of scaled, you know, the same way. The only difference is everybody has a pre-select amount of trinkets that they can choose from before the battles start, and everybody has an armor that they can choose from, and everybody's like on the same playing field, like eye level and stuff like that. Even then I wouldn't take it seriously, just because like I don't really take a game like WoW's PvP seriously. If I was going to play PvP, I'd play something like Marvel Rivals, you know, on League of Legends, some other game that's like specifically designed for PvP with like nothing else in mind. Even like said something like even Overwatch, you know, which I wouldn't play Overwatch because Overwatch is not. I'd rather play Marvel Rivals. Although the only thing about Marvel Rivals that I like turns me off is it's not first person. I prefer like first person games when I'm playing like FPSs and stuff. But anyways, right? So like I play like a PvP game like that. But I think what this guy is trying to say is that he wants WoW. Like I think they could do that. They could have WoW PvP where everybody has the same item level. They just give you each like standard armor, and then they let you like pick from a select amount of trinkets that do different things. Like this PvP trinket, you know, gives you a health boost. This PvP trinket like puts someone in place, and like everybody gets to just select trinkets. That's the only two options that you can select from. Everybody has the same item level, you know, your talents are different, and they kind of give you stock potions to use and give you stock, you know, buffs to use, and then they put you in an arena and everybody's at the same base. I could be a lot better. I could be something like this guy wants, because he wants, like, he seems to want the barrier to entry to be, you know, non-existent. So I guess I can kind of understand something like that would be a fix.
Problem is that they disrespect the time of their players so much that most potential new players don't want to invest themselves in such a deep mud just to approach the fun stuff. And honestly, it's very often that time-gating content gets active players to deactivate their sub from just waiting too long on the next wing of content to unlock. Many people would rather quit than experiment because of how boring it is to grind out a new ult. And that's bad game design. Leveling is just treated as a barrier to entry in retail because all of the actual content is in the endgame. I doubt they'd ever consider this stuff, but for the sake of trying to get new players in the game, I have a few ideas.
No, yeah, I could understand how, yeah, all the fun stuff is in end game with respect for the PvP, but like PvE, it's like I don't know, like, how many people just want to get to the end game to do raids and do, like, run mythic keys. I mean, a lot of people just enjoy, like, I think a lot of people play WoW, they just do the expansions, do all the world quests, and then they, like, kind of stop playing. Because it's like, okay, I soaked up all the content, I played for like 3 months, I played, like, you know, few hours every day, did a few random quests, and then, like, I'm at max level, but I'm just gonna, like, experience it, you know, have some fun, you know, kill some stuff. And then, like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna cancel my sub, and when the next expansion comes out, I'll do all that again. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't engage with the end game systems, that just want to, like, play and just leave. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
To make the end game more accessible. PvE players already have AI follower dungeons and delves. Starting with Mythic Zeros and having lower tiered raids are great for them to practice. But how are PvPers supposed to practice? Dueling? Well, sure, but we also need to make Comp Stomp permanent and add AI arenas to the game as well. If you're new and just spam arenas with randoms for practice, then you're likely to nuke your win-loss ratio for the season, and that'll make it infinitely harder for yourself to get into future groups. Complain about it on the forums and you'll just get told that clearly the problem is that you didn't level an identical character alongside your entire journey so that way you can care less about your rating. The worst part of a new expansion, in my opinion, is leveling your ult army.
Wait, what? Okay, that's really dumb.
I'm often even dissuaded from logging into the game because of how badly I don't want to participate in content that I hate that seemingly only exists to time gate me from the content that I enjoy. I suck at coming up with names for things, so let's just call this idea Max Mode. After reaching the max level and completing the campaign on at least one character, I think you should gain the ability to create a max mode character that starts at the same max level with full green crafted PvP or PvE gear. Ideally, each spec should get a short mini tutorial upon creation, similar to the boat scene.
They have that. They have that. It's called level boost. And you can unlock this feature for, you know, $50. So, there it is. They already got this. They're not, they already got that feature, boy, buddy. It's at the store. Yeah, no, you either pay with your time or your money with that, to be honest. That's just how it is. Like, either you spend the time leveling up, or you know, you fork over the money to get instant level cap. Just how it is.
When you make a new level 1 character now. Of course, these max mode ults would have to come with some restrictions so that both can't be abused by bots and also still leave a reason to level in the first place. I'm thinking max mode characters should be unable to participate in any professions or non-instance content, with the exception of things like dueling or world quests. Whatever is necessary to keep bots from abusing this to make gold. This feature should only exist to help the player base at large play the part of the game that they actually enjoy more. That said, I can't speak much for raiders and key pushers, but while PvPers are eating better right now than any other time in WoW history, Blizzard is trying to address the solo queue issues with varying results. Honor is easily transferable to your ults, and all PvP gear can be earned by PvPing. These are incredible changes over the years that I'm grateful to have seen. but there's no reason to ever stop pushing the envelope and improving. The same way that Blizzard pushed the envelope by stretching out of the RTS genre and pummeling everyone's expectations on what a good game should be. So as good as it is to be a hardcore...
Hold on, I just noticed that. Is that an earring? Inside of an earring? I just noticed that, man. That's crazy.
Should be. So as good as it is to be a hardcore retail PvPer right now, we gotta keep an eye out for the casuals too. So let's reintroduce the gateway drug called Plunderstorm, make it free to play, and then add a battle pass directly tied to the submodel. And if
I'm kind of like torn between if they should make it free to play or not. Like I don't know. It's just like I literally don't know, because I don't know like how much it appeals to. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it a buck. Nobody who plays Fortnite is going to come from Fortnite into Plunderstorm and play permanently. Like I'm not talking about like 30-year-olds or whatever, they probably will, but I'm talking like kids. You know what I mean? Like, why would they come from Fortnite with their, you know, their twerking, whatever? Who's that celebrity that does the twerking or whatever? Spice Girl, Spice Man, Spice Lady, Mocha Spice, whatever. Nobody's gonna come from that and like lose their skin, their Mocha Spice skin, to go play Plunderstorm. You know, like I just don't ever see it being like a popular free-to-play game to like bring in the non-WoW people as much as you would think, right? Like I just don't think, like, I think it appeals to like WoW people as a gateway into that type of game, like into the battle royale genre. I just don't think it appeals to people outside of the WoW spectrum to get them into it that would rather be playing like Fortnite. I just don't see it. So like I don't even think like making it free to play would even make it much of a difference. You know what I mean? Like it might, like, you know, you know, obviously it'll add players into it, but I just don't think it's going to make like as much difference as you would think it would in the player numbers, because I just don't see it being like I just don't see it like bringing in people that would rather play this than Fortnite. I just don't see it. Everybody who's already playing a battle royale is going to be playing Fortnite, and like anybody that wants to play Plunderstorm is probably old enough to play Plunderstorm. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, WoW doesn't really appeal to the, you know, the younger crowd as much as it does like the older crowd. Like, let's just be honest about that, right? It's like nobody's really like excited about WoW that's like, you know, younger. I mean, obviously there are people that, you know, prefer it. I'm just saying, like, in this day and age, it's mostly like, you know, for older people.
You just winced at the word battle pass, then I'm gonna need you to get it together, big guy, because this could resuscitate the whole scene. Tied to the submodel means if you pay your $15 monthly, you'd get anything in this hypothetical battle pass anyways.
But like, isn't that what it has already, kind of, pretty much? With the WoW, or with the Plunder store, it's not like technically a battle pass? Kind of. It pretty much is. Battle passes are basically just skins and currency. That's exactly what the Plunder store is. It's incentive that when you play more matches, you earn more money, and then you can, you know, buy the stuff from the store that you want to. It's the store is pretty much a battle pass, man. Let's just be honest. The Plunder store is a free store that you earn in-game currency to buy stuff with. That's basically a battle pass. It's just, it's not called a battle pass, but it's a store that you earn free currency from the game to buy. That's a battle pass.
This is the final piece of the puzzle. Plunderstorm could be the most beginner-friendly way to get people into WoW. Imagine the situation that you were in when you first started playing the game. long ago before the Stockholm Syndrome fully set in. Nearly 20 years ago, your biggest problem with the game was getting the battle chest and then scraping $15 a month together to play it. How cracked out would you have been back then if you could have played for free? Well, it's not 2004 anymore, and MMOs aren't as popular as they used to be. That said, it's also not 2016 anymore, so while Battle Royales might not be the biggest thing, they are still far from relevancy.
What a fucking...
In most games, you purchase the battle pass and you get some paid currency, and emotes, maybe a few skins. One of those skins might even be good if you're lucky, and then that's it. Well, imagine this scenario as a new player in Plunderstorm with a pass tied to the sub model. You start playing for free because the game is fun, and then boom, you got killed by somebody with a cool skin from the battle pass. Oh well, might as well drop $15 on it, you might think. You purchase the battle pass, you get a cool new dance emote, a few outfits, maybe some trader's tender, or a new paid currency for a plunder shop, God forbid. But then, that's not it. You didn't just purchase a treasure chest, you've opened Pandora's box. More and more and more value just keeps flying your way. You didn't just purchase a skin for this nifty new Battle Royale game mode, no. You purchased full access to the entirety of the World of Warcraft. Not only are all of your outfits and cosmetics and dances available for use in this MMORPG that you didn't even mean to purchase, but there could be more activities within that world that unlock even cooler cosmetics for you to use back in the Plunderstorm VR. This could create a symbiotic relationship between the different versions of the game, where they encourage you to earn rewards in each other instead of the parasitic relationship we have now, where Classic, SOD, Kata, and Retail are all competing for players in completely unrelated content. I might be exaggerating when I say this, but I feel like this could breathe so much new life into the game by refreshing the player pool. You would not believe what some players are willing to do for the right transmog. All that said, I'm not a game designer, and I don't have all the numbers in front of me. I'm just a diehard WoW player who's grown infatuated with the scene, and I want to see all corners of the game continue to grow. I just noticed a few problems that I have with the game, and I kind of wanted to talk about them. I don't know if my solutions are realistic or even entirely desired by the community, but I'm very interested to know what you think. Do you want to see Plunderstorm return? Is my suggested max mode option a horrible idea? Or maybe you think leveling is actually already too fat.
The max mode, brother. it's in the game. Okay, all right.
Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section below. And while you're there, guys, please hit that like, subscribe, and bell icons, as they really help me out a ton, and I really appreciate it.
Alright, we'll let this video finish. Give this guy the watch time. Alright. Come on, man, your title. Alright. Not a bad video. I kind of agree with some of the stuff. But like, yeah, I don't think they're not adding in a max mode, brother. Sorry, in the game. And I mean, yeah, the Plunderstorm returning, it did. I don't know about like making it free to play, and I'm like basically making it free to play, making people not have access to the plunder shop without paying could be something too. Like you can only just play, maybe only playing singles or something like that. But like, no, that would be bad. But like, yeah, being able to play singles and duels and not having access to the plunder shop could be something. But then again, like, I just don't think like they want to make it a permanent game mode, because I think like the idea of the FOMO of it, I guess, is like, oh, Plunderstorm might leave and then it might come back in like 7 months, but like, you know, get your, you know, come sub now. It's like, I think that that's what they're hoping they'll get from it. But yeah, not a bad video. It's very very PvP focused, and like I don't know much about PvP, but yeah, no, it was a good video. Yeah, be sure to check his channel out. Links I'll put him down there. But yeah, man, not a bad video.